Hello. So I'm going to try to do a screen recording here, and hopefully this will work out. Just want to explain a few things and show uh, some things that some students might be having some issues with. So this is from the week 2 module 2 assignment. I just grabbed a example from one of the student submissions, and I wanted to walk through a few of the errors that I'm seeing here. So as you can see in this code right here, there is a paragraph tag that's ended with a closed paragraph tag. And then there is a span, um, but there is an additional span in the middle here. So the attempt here was to nest two span, or the effect was to nest two spans, which is pretty unusual. So what I'm going to do is and so if you look at the result of this, I'll just hit refresh. You can see that the word is getting highlighted, but it's probably not the intent. Basically, this background color, yellow, and it is getting implemented, but this is not the right way to do it. So if I were to copy this code and format this a little bit better so that it's more readable from a tagging point of view, you can see that we've got nested spans, but the outer span is never closed. So the first thing I'm going to do is close that span, and when I save this file and refresh, now the at least that's fixed up. Now the other next thing is there are two style um, calls or attributes in this one span, which is not legal. So I don't think that that is being bolded. Whereas what you can put multiple style attributes in a single multiple style settings in a single style attribute. So now if we save that one, now the bold is being taken. So that was one of the errors, was that there was multiple style attributes, and apparently it was only taking the first one and ignoring the second one. Then but I don't think that the intent here. So what's actually happening is that there would be a highlight class, then its attribute that is defined in the CSS file, and a inline style that would be overriding anything that's in the highlight class. However, the highlight class is not defined in our CSS. So I'm going to make another copy of this and remove the inline style and go down into our CSS. And let's say we want to set the background color to red, or let's say green, and the font weight to bold. So we'll save the CSS file and we reload the page. Oop, did I save it? And save the file and then reload the page. Now it's not taking that style. So the question is, even though we specified class highlight and we defined class highlight, it's not showing up. Some people had a typo, so they had like height light, and that would certainly cause a problem. But there's something else going on here. So in your browser, I'm using Chrome. You could use other browsers. If you take the you can go to a section of the page and right click and do an inspect. And when you inspect, opens up a developer window where you can actually see the code and the corresponding styles. And this is a very cool screen because you can directly manipulate the styles. So if I wanted to um, do like, font size right here and add a, 50 pixels, um, then it suddenly got bigger because so you can play around with your styles and your HTML right in the browser. Now, of course, when you refresh the page, any changes that you made goes away because it's reloaded it. But this is a good way to debug and troubleshoot and play around and do even some design work. You just have to remember then to take whatever changes if you like them. If you wanted the style 50, then 50 pixels, then you would want to make sure you add that back into your original code. So in this case, we're trying to figure out why the highlight is not taking. And if we look at this code, we can see that the like see if we don't have any other styles. So if I actually go into this HTML and go into editing it, lo and behold, what we're seeing is that there's two pairs of quotes around the word highlight. And that's because, and if you look really carefully, I don't know if you can see in the video, the inner quote is a back tick double quote, which is probably an artifact from copy and pasting from like a Word doc or some other word processing file that is using a different type of quote than the regular ASCII quote that you need in your HTML. So in this file where the word highlight is put in quotes, it's using a wrong character. It's not obvious from reading this, but it then became obvious because when we opened it up in the HTML, in the browser, we could see that there was an extra set of quotes around the backtick quotes. So if I were to modify this and just make the highlight be regular quotes, now it's getting the style, and over here you can see that the element has a dot highlight, and we could play around with this, change the background to blue or whatever. But you can see that this span element now has the highlight class associated with it. So to fix this problem, we go back to our code and we replace the quotes with the proper quote character. Now, the other thing that brought it up, I'm going to undo this. Notice the way this, well, I'll redo it. So notice how the Sublime has highlighted the word highlight as opposed to up here where it was not quoted properly. And so the Sublime knew that this was not a quoted string. It was treating it like some other kind of keyword, like the word class. So it's in green. Whereas here, we actually have visual feedback that it is a proper string. So that if you knew this, then you would see, oh, there's something wrong. You could see right in your editor that there was something wrong because of the way that Sublime has highlighted it. So now now that we have fixed it in this version and we go back and refresh, then this element, it does have that correct style. So a few things here. One is making sure that you're typing things correctly, no typos, make sure you're using the right characters in your quotes. Make sure that your tag nesting tags are all properly terminated and that you're not doing nesting that doesn't make sense. And definitely make use and get used to this inspector in the browser, again, the way I opened this was I just click on something and right click, inspect, and then you may need to enable it. I'm not sure. Um, Developer tools. You probably can't see that. So in each browser is a little bit different, but under Chrome, it has a thing called Developer Tools that is another way of turning these on and off. And so you want to make sure if, that is enabled. There's lots of other tabs in here that, like, there's a JavaScript console. You could look at your source files. You can see network performance and other things. But the most important one for us is the Elements tab and then the Styles thing. So play around with that and have fun with it.